Huh? Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us from all over the Americas. And we are here today with the owner of Sweet Bocas, founder and owner, Annick Bélanger. So Annick is already in her beautiful villa. You can see with my picture, I am too, but not the same, not the same. So good afternoon, Annick. Thank you again for taking the time. And we're going to do a little presentation first. We're going to speak together, or you have so much to say. If you have any little word you want to say before we share, but that's your baby. That's your baby.
Yeah, you can start the presentation. I'll go along to the pictures and just talk a little bit very quickly in a nutshell who we are. How to start, I guess the best way is how to get here. 95% of our clientele in the last 6.5 years have gotten here privately. We have an international airport 10 minutes away from the property. So it's a hop, skip, and a jump away from many cities in the United States. And when you land, it's a 10-minute boat ride to come over to the property. So it's all very, very, very easy. The picture that you see here is the 22-hectare island that's connected to the 20,000 square foot villa. It's a whole other world here that we've created for people to really enjoy different experiences. We tell the agent everything about those experiences prior to the client's arrival, but we ask that the agent says as little as possible to the client, if that is by all means possible, because we really like to surprise the client when he's here. We don't claim to be better than anybody by all means, but different. We really are. This is the type of product that is completely off the beaten path, out of the box experience. It's very authentic. It's very genuine. It's very human. It's a big labor of love from myself and from our team. There was nothing here when we first started the project. This was a complete swamp. The picture that you see here, you could not even walk anywhere because it was all muddy and it was filled with frogs and ugly, whatever species that you can think about. So we basically dug underneath the swamp to see what was there, and we found this beautiful coral and this rich black soil that we just basically brought on top of the swamp and created all the earthworks that you see here, which one is the second biggest, largest lake in the archipelago of freshwater. And on that lake, for example, if you see on the top left-hand corner, there's a pontoon that goes around at night where it's all candle lit and the property is all lit up. And you have cocktails and snacks there. And then we park the pontoon, and literally 20 seconds from the pontoon, you get to a pergola where you have an al fresco dining experience where the chef cooks with the big green egg, a bunch of parillas. And in the pergola, there's all these beautiful vines with these little lights. That's very romantic and very quaint and cozy. And you have this really wonderful meal and great wines with great company that you're there with. So it's all really kind of simple, but very, very à point, as we say in French. So this is the villa. It's a 20,000 square foot villa. It actually has 6 bedrooms. It's got a 7th bedroom on the main floor, which is the den TV room, but it changes into a full bedroom at night with blackouts, and it's got its own in-suite bathroom in it. When we have a lot of multi-generational families, the grandparents have a tendency to want to stay there so that they don't have to walk up the big staircase to the first floor. So that works very, very well. It's all made out of native teak. We bought a teak farm about a half an hour away from here. We cut down every trunk of every tree on the farm. We brought every trunk here, built a wood shop, and processed every single piece of wood that you see on that picture. We ended up with 250,000 feet, so we built a 20,000 square foot home. In the back of the house, you see another structure there, which is our gym and our lounging area and our spa. And there's an infinity pool in the front. From the villa to that area is literally like a 20-second walk from one another. And we sit on a coral reef. If you see the coral reef there, it's some of the best snorkeling you'll ever have is around the house and underneath the house. That's the house lit up at night. They're two totally different worlds. The house, when you live in it during the day, and then when you live in it during the night, it just kind of like transforms into something else. It's very interesting.
I can say there is also two worlds. There is a front where maybe you play in the water is at knee level, and the other side where you actually dive in. Huh? So it's two activity space, huh? For adult and for kids. It's really nicely done, naturally.
Correct.
Naturally. Huh?
Yes. So this is the front of the deck that Dominique was just talking about that you can actually jump off. It's literally like 30 feet deep right off the deck of the house there. So you can dive in without a problem on each side. And in the back of the house, there are ladders that you can just go into, and it's about 4 or 5 feet deep. So as Dominique was saying, it's very, very kid friendly. You're in the Caribbean here, so the water is very warm. And there are no sharks and no crocodiles and none of that kind of stuff around. So you don't have to worry about any of that. And if people don't feel comfortable swimming in the ocean, then they go to the infinity pool. But the ocean is quite beautiful. The water is, even if it's a little warm from time to time, it's still very refreshing. So that's on another angle. So there's different places around the villa that you can have lunch and dinners. This is a smaller table, obviously for smaller groups, but we add on other tables when we have groups of 15, 20, 25. We can accommodate. The biggest multi-gen family we've accommodated so far is 14 adults and 17 kids from ages 2 to 17. For people that are afraid of toddlers being there, we just had a 1.5-year-old toddler that was just with us here in January, February, and we've had many toddlers in the past, and there's absolutely no issues. I understand the concerns of mothers, because there's no gates around the deck of the house, but it's very wide. The deck is about like 40 or 50 feet wide before you get to the end of it. And so by the time a toddler walks around, somebody can grab him before he even gets, close to the deck of the house. So there's always a lot of staff here. We can also put a life vest on from the minute the toddler wakes up to the minute he goes to bed. And a lot of clients bring their nannies. So, nannies are always there to kind of keep an eye and all that. So this is an area of the house that we allow smoking. We're not allowed to allow smoking around the house at all, by all means, because the insurance companies do not want to insure us for fire because we're all made out of wood. But depending on the group, we allow people to smoke there if need be.
I was going to say, Annick, that you have a great staff and very attentive. So I will not be afraid for anyone bringing small kids, even if they don't have a nanny. Your staff has an eye everywhere, huh?
Yes. Well, the clients who had this toddler just now were just so complimentary of the hostesses who took care of the toddler. Because sometimes, they wanted to go for excursions and activities and stuff like that. So the toddler stayed back with the hostesses, and they were raving about how good care they took of him. And, it's just wonderful. So this is the open concept kitchen dining room. It's very colorful because of me being raised in Africa. Color is very important to me. And I also wanted it to be, speaking about kids, I wanted it to be very kid friendly. I didn't want parents to start freaking out about kids dirtying everything that's white or beige or, whatever it is. It's like, so I wanted people to feel like they could be in the comfort of their own home and not have to worry about any of that stuff. So this is where all the colorful stuff comes from. The chairs that you see everywhere are from Senegal. Every object in the house has a story. I've traveled a lot and I've collected things over the years. And so everything that you see in the house, if you're interested, has a story behind it. This is a lounging area, very, very popular area where people can go in the afternoon or in the morning to relax, to work on their iPad or computer or whatever, or to read a book or to have drinks at 5:30, 6 o'clock before dinner. It depends on, every group or every family that comes, but it's always very useful and being used. And you can see it's an inside outside concept. So you don't really know when everything is open, what's inside, what's outside, which is very, very comfortable to be in. And if it rains, we close a few doors, but we don't close everything up because there's no need. It doesn't rain inside the house, so you can still keep things. very open.
Oops. So that's the TV room, your bedroom number 7. I call it also my bedroom. I got to sleep there twice. And
Yes.
really, as you said, full bathroom, blackout curtains, king size
air conditioning. Yeah.
It's a beautiful bedroom, huh?
Yes, it is. It's very comfortable. It's very quiet as well. Even if people come downstairs in the morning for breakfast, there's a whole wall of doors that actually separates that room from the rest of the house. So it's very, very quiet. There's no issues there. We also now have a movie theater outside next to the trampoline that we have at the back of the house, where the screen comes out of the ocean. And you can watch whatever movie or binge on any TV series that you'd like under the stars while you're eating these incredible homemade ice cream sandwiches made by our very talented chef. This is another bedroom. All the bedrooms in the house are fairly big, very spacious. They all have their own en-suite bathrooms. They all have king-size beds. And they all have day beds as well for small kids or toddlers to be sleeping with their parents. Or we can also add cot beds or mattresses or whatever it is. I mean, it's very flexible as far as how open or how accommodating the client wants it to be. So we can, put mattresses and change things around. You'll see a little bit later some bedrooms in the attic, which are huge master suites. And when we have a group of kids, especially, this is one of the master bedrooms. When there's multi-generational families and there's a ton of kids, the bedrooms in the attic sleep like at least 6 or 7 kids per room. And none of the kids are like sleeping one next to another very uncomfortably, quite the contrary. This is the staircase to go up to the attic. There's a little bit of like lounging areas everywhere in the house. You see this little nook there where people really appreciate, again, being on their iPad or computer or reading a book or doing whatever. I mean, it's like there's a lot of those spaces around the house where people just can really lounge and take a nap, or, there's a lot of hammocks around the house as well. So it's a very, this is one of the attic masters. So again, very spacious, very big, lots of mattresses or extra, because you're only seeing one part of the bedroom here. There's like the other part, which is just as big as this. So there could be a lot of space.
Yep.
Bathrooms. Boathouse, part of the island. We have all the toys as far as activities is concerned. And this is the other thing you need to know. Nothing has changed for us here as far as activities. I mean, nothing has changed for us, period. We've been in quarantine here with the entire 27 people on staff for a year, starting this week. We made the decision at this time last year to continue operating, even though airports were shutting down and all that, and quarantining all of our staff in order to be able to offer the client a healthy, safe, and non-mask environment, which is what we've been offering since the airports have been reopened. And clients have really, really appreciated the protocols we've taken and all the effort we've done, because they really do feel safe and in an environment, a very healthy environment, where you live the way that everybody used to live without having to worry about your mask and about social distancing and stuff. This is the pergola that I was talking to you about. These are older pictures. It's a lot more grown in now. It's a lot more lush and a lot more beautiful, but it gives you an idea. And we also have a floor now. I mean, I have to change all these pictures. Sorry. But we have a floor now, and it's not on coral. We have a ceramic floor in the pergola. And I'm going to have Dominique pictures. I have to change them. I'm going to send them to you of the Kajba, because we have pictures now. So this is a floating pontoon that I was talking to you about that floats on the lake. It's all candlelit at night. It looks absolutely wonderful. You have cocktails and snacks there. And then when we park it, you literally stroll down the pergola for like 20 seconds and have this beautiful dinner. We also take you to the island, because in the lake, there's an island in the middle of the lake where we have a whole other thing going on there. I call it the Kajba because I call it the Kajba. It's all very Moroccanish. There's a kitchen there. There's a dining room. There's a lounging area with fire pits. And we always have this special dinner because a lot of people come here for milestone birthdays or celebrating an anniversary of some sort or a holiday or something or other. And if not, and if it's just a group of friends that come just because they haven't been together in a while, we, always have like one dinner at that kasbah. These structures, we no longer, we use and we don't use right now. There's staff in there because there's 27 of us on property. But we use those structures in case someone shows any kind of signs of COVID. We can quarantine the guest in one of those bamboo structures, and he will get the same service as if he was in the villa. So the same food, it's all the same amenities as there is in the villa. So we reserve those for quarantining. And if the client needs extra bedrooms, what we now do is that I offer my personal home on the property. I have a 2-floor, 4-bedroom home. So you can actually have access to 11 bedrooms if you want to come with a bigger group. And I just go to the back because people ask me, well, where do you go? And I just go to the back. We have this great, beautiful loft with all the customer service staff there, and I just go there. That's the boathouse. So what I was saying for the activities is that all of our list of activities is still intact. And so we have all the toys that you can possibly imagine. We have a Boston whaler, so you can water ski, wakeboard, tube, subwing. It's anything and everything. And then we have a ton of excursions in the archipelago. If you're interested in wanting to discover what the archipelago has to offer, none of that has changed for us. You want to go hiking in the jungle, there's nobody there. So you don't have to worry about your mask and social distancing and all of that. The only thing that we leave to the client's discretion is all the cultural activities that we have, because if you want to get to know the indigenous community and if you want to get to know their rituals and their beliefs and all this kind of stuff, we can arrange for the activity to be a little less people, but still have to be a little bit somewhat, conscientious about the social distancing and wearing masks. So some clients have been willing to do it and loved it. And some clients have said, although it seems very compelling, we'd rather just stay at the villa. So it's up to you.
So we have now a picture of your pool. I remember
yes.
you mentioned once, we can change the water of the pool. And I said, is it
yes.
true? And you said, yes, you think it's important? I said, it's such an asset. And you were taking it for granted. I remember that. You remember?
No. Huh? You can ask for fresh water or salt water. It's as you wish. But I can tell you that since we've had the pool for like 4 years now, everyone wants fresh water because after a jump in the ocean, they want to kind of like rinse off. We have these 2 amazing, very high pressure showers, as you know, Dominique, on each corner of the house. Mm-hmm. But some people like to go for a swim. And so they always like to have it, with fresh water. We haven't had a client who's asked us for salt water so far.
Mm-hmm. And see a little trampoline side on the side of the villa where it's nice. I remember somebody was there and then they joined us walking distance. They joined us at the pool and they had their little drink and we use the side of the like a little bar. So it's really nice and a nice casual feel. It's really special.
Yeah. We now have, looking at the gym, we have someone new on board on the team, Dominique. She's a marine biologist, because we have more and more people that are interested in conservation of the ocean and what's happening with the marine life. And a lot of people are interested in spearfishing and scuba diving and all that. And so they want to know all the species and all the different, because there's great diving here, just like there's incredible surfing here and all that. So we've brought on a marine biologist who's also a great surfer and a personal trainer. So we now have a personal trainer on site as well. So if the client wants training every day when he's here, she's available to be able to train whoever wants to go to the gym and get motivated. So the view actually motivates you a lot, but Carolyn.
We have a little video of Henry, the surfing, very nice. You did a little
we did a video. Yeah, it's great. It's one of the best spots in the world. I mean, the swells are incredible at this time of year. We're in the high season of surfing from November to the end of March, mid-April. Mm-hmm. And then we start again end of June, July, and August. So Yeah, that video was a long time coming. We've been working on it for quite
yes,
some time.
yeah. And it's incredible because I've done this yoga and, you know, I always saw Sweet Bocas. And when I saw the waves, I'm like, I'm telling everybody how peaceful it is. And you said, don't worry, the waves are like what, 10, 15, 20 minutes away, huh? Towards Bocas del Toro. And it's incredible because where you are, there never been any waves.
There's never any waves. No, we're in a bay, so we're very, very protected. So it's very, very calm and very quiet here. But you go as far as 20 minutes or half an hour, and it's a whole other ecosystem. It's a whole other world. There's a ton of waves for beginners, intermediates, pros, or advanced surfers. It depends on which reef and which places you go. I'm looking at the yoga and the massage. We offer those services, but the masseuse and the yogi have not been in quarantine with us for the last year. So if the client is interested, they will do an antigen or a PCR and then be quarantined on property for 7 to 10 days and then be able to be available on property for the client 24/7. So there's a cost attached to that. I'm working on it right now because the clients who've been here up until now have not asked for a masseuse or yoga. But we have some rentals coming, which people want the masseuse and the yogi to be there daily. And so I'm working on numbers and will let you know what that is for them to quarantine on property for a week. This is Terry Sims, who's a partner that we've who's a pro surfer who we've partnered with for many years now. He's been going around the world for decades with clients who surf with him. And he now trains or teaches the kids and the grandkids because he's been surfing with his clients for generations. And he's great. He's brought us a lot of clients. 50% of our clientele here are surfers. And they come for long periods of time. So tennis court, we have a tennis pro that can come on property and be available 24/7 for the clients. He used to be Gabriela Sabatini's coach. He moved to Panama 10 years ago or 15 years ago now. And he's available as well. We can fly him in and he will quarantine for a week on the property and then be available for the client without a problem. We have pickleball as well that we can set up. This is one of the boats we have. We have many boats, depending on what the sport is, depending on what the activity is. And all those boats, including the fuel and the captains, are all included in the rental price. So everything's included in the rental price. The only thing that's not is the service charge and the tourism tax and some alcohol, because we have clients who drink bottles of whiskey at $1,500 a bottle or bottles of wine at $300, $400, $500 a bottle or whatever it is. So that's premium and that needs to be paid for, but everything else is included in the rental price. And we have all these deserted beaches everywhere in the archipelago. There's over 300 and somewhat islands around the archipelago. They're all deserted like the ones you see here. So we can bring the client to any one of them. They can spend the day there. We have the volleyballs. We have a picnic. It's not really a picnic. It's like a lunch. It's like Welmo cooks on the beach and does the whole thing. We have all the setup. And the other thing that I have to tell you that I don't want to forget about is that we now have access to a seaplane. So we did some tests over the weekend. The seaplane landed right in front of the house, picks you up, client dock, and brings you to some of these spots in the archipelago that are absolutely beautiful, that would take an hour and a half or two to get there by boat. So if you want to do it, it's a day excursion. You have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning because you've got to come back before sunset and so on. With this seaplane now, it literally takes like 20 minutes to get there, and it is absolutely beautiful. The nature here in this archipelago is so virgin. It's like, it's pristine. I mean, this archipelago has never been discovered and uncovered by anybody. And so you'll be amazed on the nature and the biodiversity that's going on here. So we now have access to be able to take you to some of these very far away spots that people normally want to go to, but don't want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I understand. So now we have access to the seaplane. And so it's going to make our list of activities even bigger and offer the possibility to go and discover these places. And it's worth the trip. It's like, it's really, really worth the trip. So we're very excited about that.
Hello. And your staff, your wonderful staff. I don't know if you're still 22 or more, but
we're at like 28 now with Carolyn. Yeah. So
right. So now what we were going to do, you wanted maybe to show us something while
yeah.
So
I'm going to just flip the phone around. I mean, I'm just on the first floor of the house. We're not like client ready, because we haven't we're free for the month of March, by the way. We were supposed to have a group from the UK to come in for the month, and they can't get out before March 7th. So the whole thing was kind of like canceled. We're fully booked for April and May, but we have space for March. So if ever you have a last minute request and you don't know where to take your client, bring him down. We'll be happy to cater them. But this is the view that you see off the deck of the house. So obviously we have a lot of day beds and a lot of stuff. And it's just pristine nature. I mean, I'll just walk not too fast and not too unstable, but it's just like a 360-degree view of, and now it's getting cloudy because it's probably going to drizzle for 10 minutes and then it's going to get sunny again for the sun to set.
I know, Catherine, you mentioned you would like, it's a good idea that I maybe add a map to the presentation to locate the island. But we can do that.
I actually have a graphic artist that's working on a map that we can, and I'll send you, I mean, whoever wants information, we have a document that is like a property / room plan. And you have all the rooms of the villa showing where the rooms are and what the inside of the room looks like. And you have the entire Google Map world map of the property with where is what, with the pontoon and the kajba and the pergola and the boathouse and the prep kitchen and the gym and all this kind of stuff. So that document I can make available to you if you write to me and want the document, I can send it. But we are going to get a better map than just that picture of the Google Map world map. We should get that within like a week or two.
Thank you.
So this is just like the live inside of the pictures that we showed earlier in the presentation.
Voilà. Without, of course, all the presentation that you do when your clients are coming, but still,
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, the day beds aren't ready, the cushions aren't there, all the hammocks and all the parasols and all the stuff. I mean, it's like we take all of that in when there's nobody here. But yes, is the villa always privatized? Yes, we never, ever, ever have operated other than on a buyout basis. It's one group at a time. We do not and will never rent on a per room basis. I created this place to have people who love one another kind of come and hang out together and connect or disconnect or reconnect with whatever it is they need to. And the space here is not made for strangers to be sharing it. So we don't rent on a per room basis.
Eileen, I see that you were asking where is it away from the city. So Bocas del Toro is 10 minutes by boat, and the airport is like 5 minutes from where you're going to take your boat. So I would say 15 minutes from the airport at the most.
Maximum. It's a 2-minute cab ride from the airport to our dock, and then from our dock, our 30-foot motorboat takes you to the property, which is 10 minutes.
Yeah.
From Panama City, the biggest jet we accommodate at the airport here is a G5. We've had clients who've had bigger planes than G5, so they land in Panama City, and then from Panama City, we charter them to Bocas. It's a 50-minute flight. Some clients are European, and even if they have all the money in the world, they won't charter from Europe to Bocas. So they fly commercial to Panama City, and then from Panama City, they fly private to Bocas. We are partnered with an FBO, so we can quote and we can offer the service of the chartering. And we now have 2 17-passenger planes that we can use for groups, which is wonderful because we used to have to use smaller planes because we have prop planes, which are Caravans and King Airs and Cessnas and all that. So we now have two 17-passenger planes that we can use for bigger groups, which is great news, which we can also fly at night.
So yes,
if people arrive
with
end of day. Go ahead.
See, you mentioned, they said we could be considered as a retreat. Yes, we call it a private retreat, private island. Catherine, back to you when you said all the personal instructors are all included in the rate, and what is the average nightly rate?
The personal instructor is not included in the rate. That's extra. Massages, yoga, and personal instructor are not included. What's included are the activity guides, the hostesses, the customer service stuff, and all that. The marine biologist, Carolyn, if she goes on an activity with you guys because you're spearfishing and you want to know all about what's in the ocean, that's included. But the personal training is not. The rates, we have two types of rates going on right now. Dominique and I worked pre-COVID on a package for smaller groups because we were getting a lot of requests for 6 to 8 people who did not want to pay or couldn't pay the whole buyout, but still wanted to live the private island experience. So we've come up with this package, which works very well, and especially now with COVID as well, because people travel with less people. So we offer for $2,000 a day per person, between 6 to 8 people. And then we have a rate for the rest of the year on a buyout basis, which is up to a maximum of 12. And then every additional person is extra, which comes out to, Dominique, I don't remember, 20,000
a bit less than 20. It's 150,000 for 7 nights, huh?
Yeah, correct. So it's like 19,000. Yeah. Correct.
Céline, you wanted to know if Annick or the team would cater to special menus when you receive.
Yes.
Where do you receive your grocery from? How often?
So our groceries are not, I mean, we are self-sustainable here. So we have our own fruit forest. All the fruits are native from here. Of course, if your client wants to have his berries every morning with his yogurt, his granola, we will get the berries from an organic farm in the province next door, which is a lot cooler weather in the mountains. So that, the whole F&B, you work with me prior to the client's arrival. It's like chartering a yacht. We don't have the luxury of a corner store nearby that we can run to and get something. So it's very, very custom made. We have all of our vegetable gardens here. So every vegetable you're going to eat here comes from the farm. It's all 150% organic. We cultivate our own fish and seafood. That's what the lake and the pond are for. If we have bigger groups that we can't have enough supply for, then the fishermen come and give us the catch of the day and whatever. We have our own chickens. So we have our own meat, poultry. We have our own eggs. The only thing that we can't have are meats that we import from Colombia and Argentina, and dairy, because we can't keep cows on property because it's too hot and they just don't make it in this kind of weather. So we have to buy whatever's dairy and the meats. But other than that, we are pretty much self-sustainable.
Catherine,
it's the real farm to table concept.
Voilà. Catherine, you said you didn't hear the second rate. So 150,000 for 7 nights, which is a little less than 20,000.
Correct.
Céline, I'm back. She wanted to know if your property, if you're registered with a Quebec OPC, or if it's not necessary.
What?
Yep. And,
what's a Quebec
OPC? Yes, I don't know. Céline, I don't know if you want to give us a little more information. So we said no danger in the water. The villa is on the water. What about if there is storms or hurricane? But I don't.
There has never been, in the whole history of the country, there has never been a natural disaster happen. The location of Panama on the world map, according to scientists, have proven that there will probably never be natural disasters in Panama. So there are no hurricanes, there are no tornadoes, there are no tsunamis, there are no anything like that here. I've been here 10 years and none of it has ever happened. We have a few good rainstorms, but that's it. That's as far as it goes.
Any infirmary around the area?
Any infirmary? There's a hospital here nearby. If there's any kind of emergencies with the FBO, we can bring in a plane very quickly or a helicopter. And there are fantastic hospitals in the country, some in Panama City and some in a city closer by called David in the province of Chiriquí, which is an 18-minute flight away. So luckily in 6.5 years or 10 years, it's never happened.
Yep.
But should it happen, there's no issues. We can take care of that, no problem.
So Wi-Fi, yes, excellent. Hot water, excellent, always good. Air conditioning, fantastic. How does the lights go? There are no window in rooms? Yes, you do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all windows, it's all doors, it's all gliding doors. So if you don't want to sleep with the AC, which has happened with quite a few clients, because the breeze is wonderful at night. And so you can just leave all the doors open of your bedroom and the breeze comes in and you just put the fan on and it's absolutely wonderful. That's how I sleep. I can't sleep with AC. So, but I've been here 10 years, so you kind of get used to it.
Any wildlife, wild aquatic animal?
No, I mean, yes, but not anything dangerous in the ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Your property has
No.
so your property has no arrival and departure COVID test or regulation. All is done
Yeah.
at the airport.
So the country requires a PCR or an antigen, but we demand a PCR. I'm not going to accept an antigen because we've been quarantined here for a year, and because antigens are not guaranteed, we demand a PCR. We can offer when the client leaves to take an antigen or a PCR on property, or if you need to go back to Panama City, we can offer it in the hangar at the FBO. The PCR takes 4 to 6 hours to get the result, and the antigen takes a half an hour.
Voilà. So safe, all swimming safe and all year round permitted. This one we answer. Céline, yes, Annick is from Montreal in Canada. Voilà. Marissa, is there kite surfing or just surfing?
There's no kite surfing. The kite surfing is on the Pacific side. On the Caribbean side here is just surfing, simply because there aren't long enough beaches to be able to do kite here.
Yes, Diane, I promise we're going to be adding the map soon. Christy, is a seaplane excursion an extra cost?
Is the what excursion?
The seaplane excursion.
Yes, of course, absolutely. You have to pay for the seaplane, yes. And we're working on those costs right now because the seaplane was just made accessible to us. So I'm working with the owner on each activity, how much it's going to cost and so on. But it's going to be the cost of the seaplane, not anything else, because if you're going to eat wherever we're going to do, it's all the food and all the stuff is included in the rental price. So you'll just have to pay for the seaplane taking you there and coming.
Voilà, but not the picnic when you're there or anything.
No. We take care of all. Yeah.
Christy, the minimum stay. So normally we like 4. You can have maybe a little bit, could be an exception at some point, but then it's case by case. But normally it's 4.
Absolutely. Although we haven't gotten any requests for 4 nights since COVID. Yeah, like 7, 10, 14 a month.
Bernadette is there by the minimum stay. Voilà. So we got that and the minimum night. OPC is a protection plan for the consumer. If I need to Quebec.
Well, we don't know. We don't have any of that, simply because all of our clients have their own insurance and have their own coverage and their own things. So we're not offering anything to our clients regarding that because they have all the arrangements made. The thing that I must tell you about, though, because I've been doing a lot of Zooms, a lot of agents in the US have been telling me that it's been very difficult, even in cities like Manhattan, to get PCR results in 48 hours. I have the name of a company because I've been doing a lot of business with an agent from New York, actually, who sent me the name of the company that she uses. And it's literally like you spit in a bag and you send your bag by FedEx to this lab. They give you the results by email in 48 hours, and they're extremely reliable because she's been using them for all of her clients that have been traveling again and that have actually never stopped through COVID in some places, in some countries. And she says she swears by them. So if anybody's interested in wanting to, who's in the States and wanting to know about this company, I can provide the information and you can get in touch with them. But I thought it was wonderful as an option because a lot of agents are saying, you know, we can't get 48-hour PCR results. So, you know, on that subject, but we don't offer.
It depends on the states. Now that I'm based in Miami these days, and I had somebody coming to my home, she did the test in the throat, the PCR, and then a few hours later, she sent me an email with my result and everything.
Yeah, and California, it's the same too. Like, I mean, there's no issues in certain states, but in some others, it seems like it's just possible. So, yeah.
Catherine, we have one more question. She's asking, and I know the answer, but I'd like you to answer.
Go ahead.
Would you assist with arrangement in excursion in Panama City for the day?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I knew that.
Yeah,
Annick is the best. She knows Panama, but not only sweet Bocas and Bocas del Toro. You'll be very impressed. Exactly.
Well, I just because I'm a type A, you know, control freak. It's like I like to control everything when a client comes if he's interested. And this is the other thing that's also very interesting is that Dominique representing Islas Secas on the Pacific and Sandglass, which should be on everybody's bucket list to visit on the Atlantic, makes it a very interesting trip to come to Panama because you get to see all sides and all aspects of the country. If you really want to do the Caribbean, the Atlantic, and the Pacific, it's like absolutely, it'll probably be one of their best trips in the Caribbean. I
agree with you.
And the biodiversity in each part of the country is so different. And I always tell the clients, if you need help, because I've done it before Dominique came around and before she represented Secas, I used to organize trips for clients who would want to go to San Blas and then come here. I know the operator who charters all the catamarans and the yachts in the islands of San Blas, and I have my drivers and we have our FBO and we have the whole, so I'm the DMC for, you know, your client, because I know a lot of agents aren't aware of Panama and don't know the country because it's absolutely not a destination, although it should be. So I'm happy to help with anything that you may need for your client, because unfortunately, and I hate to say this, I know that there's wonderful DMCs worldwide, but in Panama, unfortunately, it lacks. The customer service
you
lacks.
do have some good ones as well.
So
But
I'd rather do it myself, and I'm happy to help anybody who needs any kind of help without a problem.
I know we did a fantastic, last time I came to your property, we combined it with Islas Secas, and you put us together with your driver, and then your boat, you drove us to Almirante. Your driver was waiting for us in a minibus, and then we crossed Panama from the Caribbean to the Pacific. You know, I will never forget that. I know you can all do that by plane, but for people who may not want to use a plane or not so little, that was really an experience.
Well, it's a beautiful scenery. I mean, the country is beautiful to see. And I mean, none of our clients would be interested in wanting to drive from the Caribbean to the Pacific, but it's beautiful. I mean, the scenery is gorgeous on that road. Absolutely.
And now Islas Secas has a brand new plane of 15-seater.
Correct.
We already asked, and they said, of course, they will pick up your clients at Bocas del Toro. I'm working actually on somebody was asking me.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, it's wonderful because I think it's like less than an hour flight. I mean, it's really just very easy.
Great.
Yeah.
Connie, you were asking cooking classes.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody wants to cook with Wilmo because the food, just like any of your clients who've eaten anywhere around the world, Wilmo has gotten standing ovations from clients who've been here and have like fallen off their chair with the food he makes. And I've been to India, for example, 13 times over in my life. And I eat Indian here made by Wilmo, and I feel like I'm in India. I mean, it's like the guy cook anything and everything. And he's just like, he is an extremely talented and creative chef, and he can make you or make your client whatever he wants. It's like, there's absolutely no, and I used to own restaurants, so the gastronomical experience for Sweet Bocas is very, very important for me. I believe that there's a lot of beautiful places in this world, but if you have an extraordinary gastronomical experience, it doesn't have to be, you know, so fancy and so complicated and so this and that. It just has to be good food, simple food, but just so tasty and delicious.
Yeah.
Talk about it forever on end. And if you don't eat that well, you know, you're lucky if you'll say something to a few people. So that's a very, very big part of Sweet Bocas is the food and beverage. Absolutely.
Céline, Annick, are you the sole owner? She said, bravo, you're courageous, right? And how
no,
does...
there's a group of investors, but I am the sole operator.
Decorator, designer.
I am the creator and the only general manager and the only, you know, I'm a hands-on. I've been devoted and dedicated my life to the last decade of my life to do this project. I have my father and my husband a phone call away, who are my #1 supporters and fans, along with, you know, other people behind me. But I am the daily operational, making sure that, you know, everything goes correctly, for sure.
Catherine, just to mention that the rates are commissionable indeed.
Yes, absolutely.
The last question is, how does laundry service works? Waiter, maid, staff, but we have 22 people on staff, but the laundry service,
that's all included into the rental price. We do not charge. It's like if you're in the comfort of your own home. I mean, if you're home, nobody's going to charge you for laundry. I mean, it's like, so we don't charge for laundry. We do laundry daily if need be. When you get a full house of people, obviously there's always some laundry to do, but all of that is included in the rental price. There's no extra fee for that at all.
So I don't see any more questions, but I think we went through a lot. We maybe didn't mention that the temperature was lovely all year long, and it's not always a destination. Even in summer, I come often in June, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 365 days a year the same. I mean, it's between 90 to 100 daily. The nights don't get lower than 85, maybe sometimes 80 at most. And it's always beautiful. If it rains, it drizzles, and it might be overcast for an hour or two, and then it blows over and it's beautiful, or vice versa. The kids policy that I just saw popping up on the screen here is kids 10 years old or younger are complimentary.
And Connie, yes, we are waiting for your clients and then for yourself. We also do fun trips, so if anybody is interested, we'll definitely do that soon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you to you, Annick,
for your time and your interest.
I know it's a passion, so you're a bit like me. We actually love speaking about it because it's
I talk about it for hours, but like I know. You have to come and live the experience to be able to talk about it yourself. You know, that's who we are. I created this place for people. This is if I may leave that last message, I created this place for people to just really want to be. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You're a human being like everybody else. And if you're here and you want to look like I do, where you don't wash your hair for a week and you're not wearing makeup, people don't care. It's like, we've had clients who've said to us, like, you know, I've never been, or I don't remember being in a place where I can just be wearing a t-shirt and a pair of shorts and a pair of flip-flops and come into this beautiful dining room and nobody cares. Like, that's who Sweet Bocas is. For me, luxury is authenticity. And so that's what was important for me to create this place, is to be real. And the customer service here, like Dominique was saying, the staff is extremely genuine. They're all super intelligent. They're very diversified. We have an Australian, a French, a Norwegian, an American who was once in the army. And they all have like this background. They've all traveled. They all have brains, and they can carry on a conversation with clients. The most amazing thing when clients leave here, they're sad to leave because they've gotten attached to the staff so much. And we've had the 1% of the world be here and have made us sign non-disclosures for life. And they have cried leaving here because they got so attached to the staff. So that's who Sweet Bocas is. Like, we don't care who you are. We don't care what you do. You're here to just be you.
But that's a beautiful way to finish and conclude our webinar. Thank you again. Hein? Buenas tardes, buon tarde. And thank you, bonjour and bonsoir à tous ceux qui sont avec nous.
Yes, this was wonderful.
Thank you, Annick, again. Hein? And see you soon. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye, everyone.